And that's where we're keeping our focus now. The NBA elections that have just been concluded, and we have a president-elect, but we're going to discuss that and what way forward for the NBA. And to do just that with us is Martin Zubile, the former NBA chair. To my very immediate right, I want to thank you so much indeed for coming.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
As well as a very familiar face. He's been almost just about everywhere discussing legal issues. Wahab Shitu, I want to thank you so much indeed, the legal practitioner as well.
Thank you for inviting me.
Let me begin with you, because this election, it's been long expected, and thank goodness it has come to a point where we have a president-elect. But by and large, how will this push the NBA to the next level where, as we just heard, it must be just, it must meet the ethics of the profession, and it must raise the bars, more important?
Well, thank you. These elections have been very hard fought, but I believe that with the results we have now, the association is poised to go to the next level. The challenges the elections have had have been basically challenges of technology, the implement of technology in our elections. By and large, it has revealed that the NBA needs to do more, and that underscores the need for reforms, which at the end of the day is the basic program for the president-elect. Reform the association. Our elections are very expensive. Our elections are very crucial. We have 126 branches around the country. Every branch expects that the president or the candidate will come and speak to them. We need to eradicate all this. We need to employ more of technology. And then as lawyers, we also need to remember that whoever we're electing are just coming to serve for 2 years. It's service. It's not a paid position like the normal politicians we have.
What challenges did you face that hindered you from carrying out those reforms?
Well, reforms in the NBA, reforms have to be constitutional. We recently, in 2015, amended our constitution, and that's what brought the electronic voting in the first place. We tried electronic voting first in 2016, and this is the second experience at it. 2016, because it was a new idea, there were the shortcomings of that 2016 process. But I think the shortcomings got drowned in the euphoria that, finally we have achieved universal suffrage by electronic voting. So we did not pay proper attention to the little details. So those little details have come back to haunt us in 2018. But now we are the wiser for it, and I believe that going forward, 2020, we'll get it right.
Let me get your thoughts, Mr. Shitu, because a lot of people are concerned that perhaps we have had not the best of experiences when it comes to the interface between the NBA and civil society, especially when it comes to dealing with cases to deal with politicians. And it's a political era. What more do you see happening positively in that light?
Well, thank you. I think that's a very good question. I see an NBA that should serve as the conscience of the society. NBA that should be the voice of the people in terms of protection of the rule of law, protection of human rights, defending the Constitution, as well as advancing the cause of democracy. My expectation is that the new executives that have been sworn in, because this election has been keenly contested, the three candidates have formidable track records. Professor Ernest Ojukwu, Atobi Okafo, and the winner, Paul Usoro, SAN. Both of them have track records of excellence, the three of them. And then you see that the election, there was already rivalry among all the contestants, all of them trying to bring out their programs for reforming the NBA, including the fact that largely the election has been very, very competitive. But beyond the elections, we all know the golden era of the NBA, when we had the likes of Alao Akabasho come out, the NBA coming out to speak for the people in terms of protecting the Constitution, advancing human rights, and the rule of law. So what we expect to see is not an NBA that is docile, even when rights are being suppressed. NBA that cannot raise its voice, even when the rule of law is being thwarted. And an NBA that will not be able to speak out, even when the Constitution is being subverted.
We'll dig more into that when we come back after this break in just a moment. Join us again. Sunrise Daily. Mr. Wabishito, please go ahead and conclude your
Yes,
conclusion.
our country today is faced with a number of challenges. Political challenges, security challenges. Our democracy is apparently endangered. Rule of law is also threatened. So in the face of all these challenges, what we expect of the NBA as the voice of Nigerian lawyers is the NBA that will engage the process, a bipartisan NBA, that will be able to address all of these challenges, as well as address the welfare of lawyers, and raise his voice in national debate. And that's the kind of NBA that will be very effective. And so we expect the incoming executive to speak for the Nigerian people, to speak for Nigerian lawyers, to address the plight. Because if the lawyer is expected, to deploy his training and talent in defense of the people, in defense of the Constitution, in defense of the economy. That's what if you see great lawyers, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, these are lawyers at the individual level who raise their voice in terms of intervention in critical areas of governance. And that's what we expect the NBA to do.
Mr. Shitu,
yes.
This NBA you're seeking or you hope to see again, how possible is that? I mean, there are those who argue that this election that's just been concluded had its own came with its own baggage. The controversy of bribing, the controversy of the system itself being flawed. How is that going to work out to build a more formidable NBA?
Well, there are criticisms of the process that have just ended. And you cannot expect that in any elections, some people will not. He has identified part of the criticism, likely arising from technology. Some people have even said that the election is heavily flawed. But outside the criticism, I have said so that each of the three candidates, presidential candidates, are very formidable. For me, any of them could have emerged. But what is important is the credibility of the leadership. Credibility of the leadership. Determination of the leadership to fight for the Nigerian people. And you cannot do that effectively if you lack integrity deficit. If you have integrity deficits.
What about credibility of the process?
Credibility of the process, you have said so. You see, so I expect the incoming Paul Usor-led NBA to improve on the electoral process, because many of the lawyers were disenfranchised by this process. Particularly those lawyers who live in less developed communities with internet challenges. They are unable to vote.